Coming up on OU Nightly, Brent Venables speaks for the first time after co-offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell is fired. Early voters are heading to the polls in key swing states, how candidates are appealing to voters. And find out how one OU group is giving back to the community this holiday season. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Rachel Mosshammer.
And I'm Sophia Cabrera. We begin tonight with breaking news. An OU fraternity is suspended from campus.
We know Phi Gamma Delta is currently not allowed to operate on campus after allegations of hazing. OU Nightly's Abigail Franklin is following this breaking story. Abigail.
I'm outside of Phi Gamma Delta, commonly called Fiji, and tonight we know that the fraternity's international headquarters has called for a temporary suspension. As we were setting up here for our live shot, some of the fraternity members inside the house tried to disrupt our live shot here. It's since stopped, but we do know tonight that there's still new information coming in, but we want to talk about, the results. This is due to results of hazing and misconduct that took place this fall in September. The suspension means that the chapter could not hold any activities. That includes parties, initiations, and any events. A statement from OU Student Affairs says the OU Office of Student Conduct and the international headquarters of Phi Gamma Delta have temporarily suspended operations and that the chapter is currently undergoing the conduct process. Now, for most Greek organizations, the process of investigation could take up to 30 days. And as of right now, the OU or the university and the international headquarters of this fraternity will decide the next steps. And, going forward, depending on how serious the allegations are, the fraternity could be reinstated or they could be banned from campus for several years. But we're going to be following this story and we'll have more information to you as it comes in. Reporting live, Abigail Franklin, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Abigail. Another big story on campus. We are hearing for the first time from head football coach Brent Venables after he fired former co-offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell.
Venables made the comments at today's weekly press conference, and OU Nightly Sports was there. Brooke Griggs joins us now on what the head coach had to say. Brooke.
Rachel and Sophia, it's a change Sooner fans were basically demanding and the coaching staff knew was needed. Under Luttrell, the OU offense was averaging only 288.1 yards per game, which is the fewest for an Oklahoma team since 1966. The Sooners currently rank as 128th in total offense, and while many fans blamed Luttrell, Venables says the problem with OU's offense is not a one-man's job.
All the blood doesn't fall at the hands of Coach Luttrell. There's lots of different issues that have been problems for the lack of consistency, lack of offensive output.
Also, during this press conference, Venables called the OU offense an abomination.
That is pretty powerful. So Joe John Finley takes over play calling for now.
That's right, Rachel. And Joe John has a history with OU, winning 3 Big 12 championships as an Oklahoma tight end. And he was the tight ends coach and pass game coordinator at Ole Miss before coming to OU. The role Finley plays on this team is critical. Of course, we'll have more on today's press conference coming up in sports.
Thank you so much, Brooke. The presidential candidates are crisscrossing the 7 battleground states in the final weeks before Election Day. CNN's Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook reports on how they're working to appeal to any undecided voters with early voting getting started.
With just 2 weeks until Election Day, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris tailor their appearances and messaging to a shrinking group of available voters.
We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
I believe that when we think about who we are as the American people, there is more we have in common than what separates us.
Early voting is underway in most states, and as of Tuesday morning, nearly 16 million ballots had already been cast.
I think everyone realizes this is probably one of the most important elections they're going to have in years, and then when they get it done.
I wasn't even really thinking about voting early, except for the fact that my daughter's back from college for fall break. So I just figured I'd go with her.
While Democrats had a wide advantage over Republicans in pre-election voting 4 years ago, there's some evidence that the gap may not end up being quite so wide this year. Trump's campaign is making a last-minute push to advocate for early and mail-in voting, despite years of the former president falsely painting these methods as dangerous and fraudulent.
Trump has changed his tune for obvious reasons because he needs those votes and wants to get people out. And some people just can't get out on one particular day.
Polls continue to show there's no clear leader in the race for the White House. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
CNN's polling shows the majority of voters have already decided who they will vote for. And with early voting underway, millions across the country have already casted their ballots.
Continuing to cover the election, an investigation by CNN reveals hundreds of elderly Americans have been misled into giving millions of dollars away to campaigns. OU Nightly's Oliver Schaefer has that and the rest of today's national headlines in the News Center.
CNN finds within more than 1,000 reports filled with government agencies, political fundraisers are victimizing hundreds of elderly Americans. More and more politicians are asking for donations through text messages, and families explain that their parents are giving but not knowing that small contributions are coming out of their bank accounts, monthly or even weekly. A small sampling group of 50 elderly donors added their donations up the last 5 years, totaling to $6 million. A former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch is arrested on charges related to sex trafficking. Mike Jeffries and 2 other associates are accused of running a sex trafficking scheme between 2008 and 2015. A federal indictment explains their plans of recruiting men wanting to become models, then giving them drugs at sex-themed parties. In San Antonio, police say a baby is dead after a toddler shoots them. Authorities say a woman and 3 young children were sitting in a parked car. Police say one of the young children got a hold of the gun and shot the baby. At this time, police have not said who owned the gun, and no charges have been filed. A partial autopsy reveals Liam Payne, the former One Direction singer, had multiple drugs in his system when he fell to his death in Argentina. Sophia, Rachel?
Thanks, Oliver, for the update. We'll continue to follow this story as more details come out. And the leaves may be changing here in Norman, but the temperatures are still rising this week.
OU Nightly meteorologist Dylan Strelko is in the studio with details on how these record-breaking temps. Dylan, could we see some relief?
Well, I'm going to tell you guys, not for the next couple of days. Those temperatures are really going to be surging for Wednesday and Thursday, but the cold front will be coming in Thursday night, bringing those temperatures to a more cooler state for this upcoming weekend. But in our main forecast, we're going to be breaking down those record-breaking temperatures, as well as the wind returning and inducing that fire weather risk in western Oklahoma.
Thanks, Dylan. A few intersections in Norman are getting new safety additions thanks to a grant of a native Oklahoman tribe. I had the pleasure of covering that story and learning more about the expansion of these safety measures across the city. Take a look.
Certain intersections in Norman are getting a small makeover, an adjustment that will help with safety and traffic flow, all-way stop signs. These 4-way stop signs have been installed on 3 intersections, such as 60th Southeast and Lindsay, by request of Norman citizens. The stops are funded by a safety grant gifted to the city of Norman from the absentee Shawnee tribe. Approached by them in 2022, transportation engineer David Riesland says the grant has helped the city develop a lot.
The tribe has access to funds that we just cannot touch as a city, and it helps our resources go a whole lot further than they would otherwise.
According to Riesland, the grant helps fund the majority of the materials for these stops. The installments come after consistent distracted driving and accidents, but are strictly for the safety of Norman citizens, not for inconvenience or even speed control.
There are reasons we do this. We're not looking for locations necessarily to do this. All of these have come about from citizen inquiries, and we take public safety very, very seriously.
The city of Norman has installed 3 of those 4 stops so far, with a list of more stops to be upgraded in 2025.
And coming up, we'll take a peek at a scary good time coming up this weekend.
That's right. This event will be filled with monsters, mutts, and meows.
And how an OU group is getting into the holiday spirit while helping the community.
Where you can sign up to be a part of the change when we come back.
Bringing the spooky season to the animals, OU Nightly's Savannah Simmons has today's Pet of the Week.
Rachel, Sophia, Friday night, Norman Animal Welfare is hosting Monster Midnight Madness from 6 p.m. to midnight. Stephanie Adams-Hawkins, the adoption coordinator, says this event will give people the chance to meet adoptable animals in their community. This event is free and you'll be able to eat from food trucks, buy from local vendors, and play with some furry friends. And this month, all adoption fees are waived. If you're not interested in adopting a pet, do not worry, because she says she wants everyone to come and celebrate this Halloween-themed event together.
The people we really want to draw in, and they're so afraid that if they come to the shelter, it's going to be sad for them. And we want people who wouldn't otherwise come to come out and see that this is a nice, safe place. It's a peaceful place where you can come in and find dogs.
If you or someone you know is interested in adopting and cannot make it to the event Friday, you can find Norman Animal Welfare's website on normanok.gov under the Resident and Visitor tab. And you could also call the center at the number on your screen. It's never too late to help a pet in need.
Thanks, Savannah. The OU Food Pantry is holding its first ever Angel Tree this holiday season, which provides gifts for children in need. The program is anonymous and you can sign up a child 14 and younger. Members of the community can adopt your child and purchase their preferred gifts, and you'll be notified when the gifts are available for pickup. Sammy Groves has ran Angel Trees before and just wants to give back to the community.
We know how big holiday season is, and we see an increase in customers during the holiday season, and we really see the amount of people that just need extra help, and so we just want to be able to help families make holidays a little extra special.
You can sign up at the food pantry. The deadline is October 28th. The gifts will be delivered discreetly before the holidays start. Some changes to a popular social media platform is sparking concerns among users.
Find out why and how you could be affected next.
And you'll want to stick around because I'll be giving you a timeline of when we could be seeing some relief from those record-breaking temperatures after the break. Welcome back to OU Nightly. We've got a pretty hot one out there today. Mostly clear skies, not really seeing any clouds out there, but like I said, temperatures getting well up into the 80s. 88 is at current temperature right now here in Norman, but the conditions are staying dry with the dew point and humidity on the lower side. Now, as we look at the rest of the metro, we're seeing 90s up there on the far northern sides, even in the western sides as well, over in El Reno and Guthrie. But as we look at the state as a whole, we are all well above average for this time of year across the state. So 89 here in Oklahoma City, 89 down there in Lawton, even the Panhandle as well, getting up into the lower 80s at 82 over there in Guyman. Now, checking in on that allergy report, we are seeing the wheeze at a higher level, and that's going to be more noticeable when we have an inconsistent temperature range as we have going on over the next 7 days. So if you're feeling stuffy or scratchy in the throat, that could possibly be why. Now, breaking down that evening forecast for you, getting out of the 80s and into the 70s by 8 p.m. tonight. Winds should stay relatively light, mostly clear this evening. And then we're going to be talking about the record-breaking temperatures for tomorrow. Now, the record that was set back in 2003 for the Oklahoma City metro area was 89, and our forecasted high is 87 here. So we could be seeing some potentially near or record-breaking temperatures for your afternoon tomorrow. Now, as we go for the next 7 days, that heat will continue to stick around. The winds will pick up on Thursday. That cold front's going to be coming in on Thursday night, so the temperatures will start to cool off as we go throughout the rest of this weekend. But break it down the winds. The winds will stay light for the next couple of days, but you'll start to see the winds really start to surge out of the southwest ahead of a cold front on Thursday, and these will start to pick up wind gusts well over 20 miles per hour, even into the 30s, mid-30s as well. And these will start to cool down as we go throughout the rest of the evening. And here is our cold front late Thursday night, Friday morning that we will be watching for as well. So that cold front will be bringing some relief for those temperatures. But with the dry conditions along with the gusty winds, we could see a little bit of an elevated fire risk on Thursday as well. Now, breaking down the 7-day forecast, we're going to be talking about no rain chances over the next 7 days. Lots of sunshine. The winds will begin to pick up again for next week on Monday. Like I said, overall, the temperatures really going to be staying consistent in the mid to upper 80s for the next couple of days until that cold front hits on Thursday night.
Well, I am so ready for that cold front. Oklahoma has some explaining to do because I put a pumpkin out on my porch. It is already shriveled up from the heat.
You could tell me it was mid-August and I would believe you.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting out there.
Yeah, I know I hate this heat as well, but thank you so much, Dylan. Social media outlet X announces new terms of service and private policy that will go into effect November 15th. Under the new terms, users will agree for X to use their content to train AI models, causing concerns for the protection and privacy of users' data and information. Disputes will be brought to the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas or state courts in Tarrant County, Texas. And changes on OU's offense has developed.
Brooke, what will Sooner fans want to know?
Well, Brent Venables has spoke on who we can expect to see on the field after coach and player changes have been revealed. Next up in sports. Hello, I'm Brooke Griggs, and it's time for sports. OU football's offensive room is a busy place. On his coach's show, Brent Venables announced sophomore Jackson Arnold is back as the starter, and time is an enemy as offensive coordinator Joe Finley takes over.
Not fair for him to all of a sudden you got to learn a new verbiage and language and how we intimately operate. So it's all very player focused when it comes to that. What's fair for them and what he's capable of doing in 4 days. When you have a play caller, ultimately everything goes through him. He makes those decisions on what we either are or aren't going to do. And but there'll be a real strong collaboration. Whatever we have been doing hadn't been working. So
while the offense looks to find their rhythm and make adjustments on their side of the ball, statistically, their unit is one of the worst in the country, ranking 128th out of 134 teams in college football, 127th in yards per play with only 112 passing yards per game. And they've punted the second most times of any team in America. Former OU head football coach Barry Switzers is now a member of the SEC's 2024 Football Legends class. After leading the Sooners to 3 national championships, he's the Sooners' first SEC football legend to have the honor. And Monday was a busy night for the former Sooners in the NFL. Baltimore tight end Mark Andrews broke the record for most touchdown receptions in Ravens history. After catching 2 scores, Tampa Bay quarterback Baker Mayfield completed 31 of 45 passes for 370 yards, but threw 2 interceptions in the 41-31 loss. And Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray ran for a 44-yard touchdown in their 17-15 win over the Chargers. OU men's golf head coach Ryan Hebel cemented his name in history after being inducted into the Golf Coaches Association of America Hall of Fame. Hebel has the most wins in program history and is the second Sooner to earn the honor in the past 20 years. 2 OU cross-country freshmen were named Southeastern Conference Runners of the Week. Tobias Chariot and Leah Gerudo received the honor after running in the Arturo Berrios Invitational Friday. And the NBA begins tonight, where Oklahoma fans can see a memorable face. Former Sooner Austin Reeves and the Los Angeles Lakers will face the Minnesota Timberwolves at 9 p.m. in LA. Rachel, Sophia.
Thank you, Brooke. And a new and surprising dish might be on your Thanksgiving table this year.
Find out who is switching up the holiday meal plans when we come back.
I'm Abigail Nickel at the OU Nightly Update Desk. It's a busy day for Norman's City Council. On the agenda tonight, the council will discuss the new contract terms with Food and Shelter and a funding agreement involving the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. This meeting begins at 6:30, and I'm following the stories. Rachel, Sophia, back to you.
Thanks, Abigail. DiGiorno could save you some cooking time this holiday season with a returning fan favorite. The DiGiorno Thanksgiving Pizza is making a return this year by popular demand.
The pizza is topped with roasted turkey, gravy, green beans, cranberries, crispy onions, a bit of mozzarella and cheddar cheese, all on a Detroit-style crust. This holiday pie will be available in stores starting October 30th through November 28th.
Now, I know we're jumping a little bit ahead. We haven't gotten through Halloween yet, but it's hard to believe we are around the corner to Thanksgiving, especially with these temperatures. Dylan, what can we expect next week?
Well, if you're looking for some sort of relief, these temperatures are really going to be sticking around in the mid to upper 80s for the next couple of days. Now, the relief is going to come Thursday night when that cold front comes through late Thursday, early Friday morning. We're going to be seeing a nice, cool, mild weekend ahead, but the temperature is going to be rebounding back up into the 80s by Monday of next week, along with those gusty winds.
Thank you so much, Dylan, and thank you for watching OU Nightly.
Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.